joining us today is UP School of Economics Assistant Professor JC Punongbayan. Sir, Professor JC, magandang hapon and thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Hello, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Sorry, magandang hapon. Sorry.
Laki ba time zone?
Magandang hapon, Prof. Long time no see. Kamusta
Hello,
si
ang daming nangyayari.
Kamusta si Walden?
Pang ibang episode yun.
Ikaw talaga, sutil ka talaga. Sir, let me start off with, of course, you had a paper about excise taxes on oil products. If if the excise taxes are suspended as what was being pushed earlier. And
Mukhang may desisyon na si ES Recto na kalahati lang.
may
excise
breaking news tong si Ronald.
Kalahati lang daw ang
Who are you quoting?
suspend. Si Ralph mismo. Si ES Ralph.
Teka, ano yun? Official sourcing yan o ano?
Official siya. Bakit wala rito sa news niyo?
Okay, sige.
Actually, narinig ko na rin yun
diba?
from another source.
Okay. Sir, first of all, let's begin with that. Your reaction to that, kung sakaling ang kalahati ang isuspend.
Well, pretty much I agree with the economic managers who have been grilled today. Kasi kailangan nating i-acknowledge na, of course, definitely, no question, kailangan talaga ng marginalized sector ng tulong. Mahihirap, as well as yung transport sector. Pero yung tanong, saan kukunin yung pera para doon? So in an ideal world, kung saan walang korupsyon sa Pilipinas, if you crunch the numbers, magkakaroon pa rin ng deficit ang gobyerno ng Pilipinas. Ibig sabihin, kulang pa rin talaga yung kinikita niya compared sa gastusin. Even now, I think nasa more than 1 trillion pesos every year ang deficit. So at the same time na there's a huge demand for ayuda financial assistance to the sectors, yung revenue, kulang na nga siya to begin with, lalo pang magkukulang kung tanggalin natin itong fuel taxes. And in my paper, I argued using data na in fact, it's the richer segments of society that pay the great bulk of gas and diesel taxes. Especially diesel. Kasi yung mayayaman, sila yung may-ari ng mga Alphard, ng mga pick-up, ng mga Nissan Terra, etc. So sa kanila, sila talaga nagbabayad niyan. Kasi kung isipin mo, sa mga poorest households, nagko-commute or merong motor, pero wala naman yung mga gas guzzlers or diesel guzzlers na mga SUVs. And as a share of their income, yung mayaman talaga yung gumagastos on diesel. So yun, may trade-offs talaga.
So, Prof, katulad
JC,
ng sabi ni Winnie Monsod ay basically tutol ka dyan sa excise tax na cancellation. In terms of pros and cons, mas marami yung negative aspect kesa doon sa positive. Pero halimbawa, how about IBAT? Paano hindi mo naman pwedeng sabihin na yung pag sinuspend yung IBAT ay mga mayayaman lamang ang makikinabang dahil across sectors yan. So, kumpara halimbawa dito sa excise tax, anong tingin mo kung sakaling isususpend yung IBAT na hinihingi ng labor?
Yes, I think your proposal is to suspend the VAT specifically on fuel, on petroleum products.
Food.
Actually, yung DOF meron na silang projection ng foregone revenues. And in fact, mas malaki yung mawawalang revenues dun sa excise tax, which is a fixed tax, rather than yung VAT. Kasi you have to acknowledge as well na habang tumataas, nag-skyrocket itong presyo ng gasolina at diesel, yung demand for these products lumiliit din. So bagamat, sige, porsyento siya nung presyo at the pump, pero habang tumataas, nag-skyrocket pataas, yung konsumo lumiliit din. So in other words, yung revenue from the VAT, na sige, tanggalin natin yung VAT, pero maliit lang yung ambag niya dun sa matitipid ng mga tao. So yung foregone revenues mas maliit siya compared sa excise tax.
JC, I take your insights on board. Pero kasi, so the counter argument to that is because we have such an imperfect system that suspending excise taxes is the easiest method at this point. So people need immediate relief at this point kasi 160 pesos a liter na yung diesel. Yung targeted subsidies, yung ayuda naman, until now, they're still rolling it out. We don't have a national ID, so mano-mano yan. 39 days into the war, they're still not done handing them out. So some jeepney drivers, some bus operators, talagang hindi na nila kaya. In their words, naghihingalo na. So I guess the counter argument to suspending excise taxes is it's the easiest. They can just stop collecting at entry point. So, and then same for VAT, I guess. Although I share your concern about yung masisira, this will destroy the national budget. And years down the road, we will end up paying for it with higher taxes kasi lalaki yung debt to GDP. So what do you think about the other side of this?
So definitely there are frictions when it comes to the distribution of ayuda. No question about that. Maraming leakages. Marami yung mahihirap na hindi nakakakuha ng ayuda pero at the same time marami yung mga non-poor na nakakakuha ng ayuda. So definitely merong leakages. And you're right na this is one of the easiest ways to do it. But the argument coming from professional economists is that this is a blunt instrument. In the sense na if you can imagine yung Titanic, okay, so nahit na natin yung iceberg, okay? So yung access to sa mga lifeboat, do sa mga raft for example, parang inuuna mong maka-access yung mga mayaman, yung mga nasa first class, yung nasa upper deck. Kumbaga parang paunahan tayo dun sa rafts, life rafts, do sa mga rafts, and then yung mga mahihirap below deck, parang sila yung, may access din sila, pero may preferential access yung mga nasa upper deck. So parang yun yung regressivity na sinasabi pagdating dito sa pagtanggal noong excise taxes. Kaya nga ang mga umaaray ngayon, mga vocal, ay yung mga may-ari ng mga sasakyan, etc. Of course, yung mga PUV drivers, syempre talagang obviously tinatamaan talaga sila. Pero that's an argument in favor of targeted ayuda kasi halimbawa meron namang rehistro halimbawa yung mga operators sa LTFRB, fairly easy. Of course, merong leakages din pero ma-identify mo rin yung mga drivers in terms of their network. So, and you also have to acknowledge na at the same time, hindi naman yung poorest 30% millions of households, hindi naman lahat nasa sektor ng transportasyon. So in that sense, ay pwede mo talagang i-target, parang surgical na ayuda ito kung saan pwede mong i-funnel yung ayuda dun sa more or less identifiable na sector kaysa yung blunt instrument na across the board ay tanggalin natin.
Sir, we've seen the back and forth nga dito sa debate na should we suspend or not itong excise taxes. And apparently the President decided to meet everybody halfway, literally halfway. Kalahati talaga sinuspend. But yun nga suspend mo kalahati, I suppose ang mangyayari niyan is bababa ang presyo ng gasolina ng 5 piso, ang diesel ng 3 piso.
Pero malaking bahagi na, nagkasubuan na Pina-aprobahan mo na, ginawa mo, sinertify mo urgent, tapos ngayon hindi mo ipirmahan.
Pero with that, considering nga na yun, you only see reductions of 5 pesos and 3 pesos, and you'll I don't know how much you will lose now. Earlier, it was 136 billion dapat between now and the end of the year kung buong sususpend. Pero ngayon kalahati lamang, I suppose, mga nasa less than 60 billion. So is that a better compromise or is it actually a worse compromise? What do you think? Are we better off with a complete suspension, the half suspension, or with no suspension?
Si Ed parang, huwag na lang nga, kung suspend mo halfway.
Well, you have to note na, as I mentioned earlier, fixed tax kasi itong excise tax. So, bawat kada litro ng gasolina at diesel ay 10 pesos as well as 6 pesos respectively for gas and diesel. Pero, tandaan din natin na at the same time, nag-i-skyrocket pataas ang presyo. So, habang lalong tumataas ang presyo ng gasolina at diesel, yung fixed na buwis na binabayad natin ay palit ng palit bilang porsyento ng kabuang presyo. So, kumbaga, yung impact, sige, tanggalin natin yan, pero ilang piso na ba yung tinaas nung presyo? So, as a percent, lumiliit siya.
Lumiliit. Yes, sir. Pero what do you think nga? Are we better off with this halfway measure or does it answer the problem?
Wala ka na rin magagawa dahil na-aprobahan na yung kalahati.
Pero, kaya na-notice nyo rin merong malaking lag, matagal lang ang napirmahan pero hindi pinapatupad pa rin. I think merong pushback talaga coming from the economic managers, the economists in government. Kasi, sige, sabihin natin kalahati, tanggalin natin. Billions na agad yan, yung mawawala na revenue sa gobyerno na madali sanang kolektahin. Kaya nga favorite ng mga gobyerno yung excise taxes coming from Pinoy's time, etc. Yung mga sin taxes, kasi madali silang kolektahin. So even if half tanggalin natin, it will easily amount to billions of pesos na. Billions na pwede mo sanang i-transfer or i-funnel dun sa mahihirap. So sige, tanggalin natin itong kalahati. Pero ang tanong ngayon, sige, saan natin huhugutin itong pera na to? Yung mawawalang or yung forgone revenues. I think si Congressman Leviste, sabi niya, kanina narinig ko parang pinopropose niya, tanggalin or kalpasan natin yung sahod ng mga nasa gobyerno, yung personal services. Sa isip-isip ko, what if simulan natin sa Congress?
Yeah.
Ang dami nilang perks sa Congress. Maging ehemplo sila. So mag-austerity muna tayo sa Congress, tignan natin saan tayo kakarating.
And then si Ronald has a suggestion, wealth tax.
Wealth tax daw.
Starting with him,
Yeah.
i-audit na yan.
Naisip ko rin.
Sobrang liit nun. No? Hindi naman ako tiga Forbes. Di tulad ng iba rito. No? Pero ano tingin mo ron, JC? Dahil si Winnie Wonsod ang una nag-suggest nun. Yung wealth tax. How viable is that? No? Considering na mag-a-approve nan ay yung wealthy.
Oh,
Exactly.
and the other side of it is sinabi na ng Malacanang that they're worried about turning away foreign investors with a wealth tax. What do you think?
Well, let's start with the president himself. Di ba, meron pa siyang 203 billion pesos na unpaid real estate tax liabilities before he came into office.
Huh?
What if simulan natin dun?
Meron ba?
Kapag nagbayad na siya ng 203 billion and then saka tayo mag-usap ng wealth tax.
Tsaka sir, yung wealth you can only tax what is declared. What about hidden wealth?
Yeah. Exactly. We only need to learn from the best practices of the Marcos family. Ano mang ginawa nila? So, sa mga offshore accounts, William
Offshore accounts,
Saunders,
yeah.
Jane Ryan, sa Switzerland, etc. So, if you put yourselves in the shoes of these billionaires and then you get wind of the fact that government is going to pass a wealth tax, you will change your behavior and hide your wealth as soon as possible, hire a bunch of lawyers, accountants, etc. They're always many steps ahead of the bureaucracy. And we also have to ask, ano ba yung capacity ng gobyerno para habulin itong
Go after
yaman
this,
ng mga... nagkalimutan na nga tayo sa corruption scandal last year. Si Zaldico still at large. So kapag nakuha na yung pera mula sa kanila, nagbayad na si Pangulong Marcos, saka tayo mag-usap ng wealth tax.
Nakaka-depress yung sagot mo, sir.
Pero ayun nga, all things constant. Saan ka kukuha? Anong gagawin mo? No? Kung very limited yung magagawa ng excise tax, in limbo pa, wala pang konkretong proposal doon sa IBAT, tapos tuloy pa rin ang massive corruption, hindi pa rin nababawi yung mga ninakaw. Tapos, what do you do? No? For example, kung ikaw, JC, ang nasa gobyerno, anong gagawin mo? No? If you put yourself in that sordid, dark place, anong gagawin mo sa kalagitnaan ng ganitong crisis?
Sordid talaga.
Well, I will pressure Congress to pass that emergency spending bill. I think yun yung first order of business. Kasi marami namang ways para i-realign yung mga items sa budget para dito sa... Just like what happened during the pandemic, di ba? And one would hope that we already learned the lessons from the pandemic, di ba? Dapat mabilis yung ganitong klaseng mga legislation to realign items from the budget and then funnel them to the response to this crisis. Pero hanggang ngayon, nasa na yung Bayanihan 3. So, I think I will push Congress to pass that. Kasi doon magmumula yung spending on many important projects like yung targeted subsidies, yung tulong sa mahihirap pagdating sa bayad sa kuryente, sa pagbili ng LPG, yung financial assistance, ayuda, and also infrastructure to protect the supply chains. Kasi I'm very much afraid, and in fact, we already saw it from the inflation data released yesterday, that food inflation will really go up. And in fact, it has already gone up. So yung fertilizer prices are going up, and then expect as the harvest season winds down, so yung presyo ng bigas ay talagang tataas yan. So ito na yung indirect effects of inflation. Hindi na not so, and this will affect the poor disproportionately. And in fact, I saw this in the data that was released yesterday.
Yeah, sa data ng PSA, the bottom 30% of households are yung halos straight line yung pagtaas nila ng
Exactly.
inflation para sa kanila.
Yeah.
So they feel the effects of inflation much more than us. But so you're okay with realigning some items in the budget. Where do you see that we could take the money from?
Well, I think in this emergency, we can afford to kind of let go some of the important big ticket infrastructure projects. Hindi siya kasing urgent right now. So I would focus on that. Even yung mga public works at the local level, siguro wag muna. I-prioritize muna natin itong subsidies. And I think one of the better solutions I've heard out there would be service contracting, which what the Manila government is going to do. So essentially, aarkilahin mo itong mga jeepney drivers, yung kanilang yung routes nila, i-subsidize mo. So you're hitting two birds with a stone kasi you provide public transportation, pero at the same time, you support the livelihood of our PUV drivers. So I think that needs to be scaled up nationwide.
Yes, sir. Well, it begins on April 15. Sabi ng LTFRB, they begin that service contracting nationwide April 15, although we don't have that much detail yet. Although ang sabi ni Obet Martin the other day, inunan kasi ni Obet Martin ang pasang masa the other day. Ang sabi niya noon, nung Monday, was that their agreement daw with LTFRB, bibigyan sila ng pera ng gobyerno to keep on flying their routes. At the same time, they will still collect fares from the passengers. So, may dalawang revenue stream sila.
Yeah. Kasi dapat din natin tanungin, bakit nga ba pinapasan nitong mga drivers yung losses? Kasi one way to remedy this would be, yun nga, taasan yung pamasahe. Pero of course, that will cripple public transportation. Jeepneys are very crucial mode of transportation. So I guess yung best route talaga is to subsidize the routes through service contracting.
Although, sir,
Tsaka lesser ang leakages. Dahil sa kasalukuyan kasi, kahit marami kang gagawin ng mga ayuda, sabi mo nga, JC, maraming leakages. At lalo na ngayon, na wala namang nahuhuling big fish after nitong massive, unprecedented corruption scandal, parang it will be more of the same. It will be more of the same. So magtatapong ka pa rin ng pera.
And I think yung Pantawid Pasada as well, itong mga vouchers that you can present at the gas stations, I think it needs to be beefed up din.
Pero di ba, pag binawasan mo rin ang infrastructure spending, ay makakadagdag yan sa pag-slow down ng ating economy? Dahil yung second biggest variable sa ating economy ay government spending.
Public works spending.
So, pag binawasan mo yan, meron ka rin tatamaan. No?
Although, na-realize ko din from last year na baka yung relatively decent economic growth na nararanasan natin in the past years ay dahil pala sa corruption. So in other words, sa papel, okay, gumastos tayo ng bilyong-bilyong piso, pero hindi naman talaga siya nag-translate into actual projects. Pero nag-reflect siya sa GDP growth. So I would say, and in fact, wake-up call yun sa akin, na parang nung natanggal yung government spending, biglang bumagal yung ekonomiya natin. So in other words, economic growth in the Philippines is being propped up by corruption, I'm afraid to say. So in other words, mahina na, parang illusory yung growth that we have been experiencing. It's much higher than what is actually out there.
May numbers
So,
crunching
yeah.
ka ba, JC? Gaano kalaki yan na yung growth natin ay funded by corruption? Meron ba kayong pwedeng...
Ongoing paper ko yan. Balitaan ko kayo pag may resulta na.
funded by
I'm so
corruption.
scared to see the numbers because as what this flood control scandal has exposed, napakalaking part ng malaki ang nakuha sa atin na nakaw. Coming back to the budget though, JC, talk us through unprogrammed appropriations. I know the Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments on it this week about the constitutionality of it. Could that factor into this crisis?
Well, for 2026, Reg, actually mababa na yung unprogrammed appropriations. Precisely
Yeah.
because of the intense public scrutiny that it has invited. So I don't think that they can fund much from the unprogrammed appropriations these days. Pero one of the findings as well that we got from the most recent budget cycle is that they have shifted away from hard pork projects, yung mga roads and bridges, going to soft pork projects. And this is something that can be used for ayuda in this crisis. Specifically, yung LGSF, so Local Government Support Fund. Kaya nga, di ba, pinulong ni Pangulong Marcos yun sila Mayor Lenny, sila Mayor Vico earlier this year. Kasi parang malaking pondo, billions and billions of funds that can be downloaded to the local governments precisely through the Local Government Support Fund. So I would argue that this is a very viable source of funding. In other words, pwedeng dito kunin yung ayuda for this crisis. So I think LGUs should be tapping the LGSF.
Soft pork. Ngayon ko lang narinig yan. I've not heard that term.
Yung financial
sounds so
assistance,
innocuous for
guarantee
what it
letters.
is.
Yeah.
That's what
oo.
soft
Compared
pork
to
is.
public works like bridges and roads. Yeah.
Soft pork. Matagal na yung soft pork. Pakulan mo na may
Ay, di ko alam eh. Sorry ah. Ang alam ko lang
Pakulan mo na
pork,
may
pork is pork. Yeah. I didn't know there was hard pork and soft pork. But soft pork kasi sounds so delicious. So, hindi ko na-reconcile.
Nakakaguto.
Lalo na kung adobo sa bawang, tsaka sa patis.
Ako, yan na
Yeah.
tayo.
Yeah.
Sir, sorry. Balikan ko lang yung sa excise taxes eh. So, if we assume nga na nakalahati lamang ang inaprubahan ng Pangulo, kasi you were pointing out kanina, you're looking at diminishing benefits as far as suspending excise taxes are concerned. Kasi lumalaki yung presyo, hindi naman lumalaki yung ano. I mean, 6 pesos pa rin yung mababawas for diesel and 10 pesos for gas. So, you're looking at diminishing benefits and at the same time also diminished revenues dahil nga kalahati na lang makukolekta mo eh. So how does that look to you in the long run, this compromise of sorts?
Well, of course, I think something has to give. Kaya nga umabot tayo sa half na lang. Sige, ayaw natin ng full exemption. So sige, gawin nating half. But I think the concerns of the economic managers are warranted in the sense na, sige, expect ba natin yung Kongreso na magpapas ng law introducing a new tax during this crisis? So, if the possibility of new taxes is zero, and then binabawasan pa natin yung revenue, ibig sabihin lang nun, uutang pa tayo. So, so pwede namang gumastos, sige, gastosan natin lahat. Pero sige, bawasan din natin yung revenue. Pero ibig sabihin, wag tayong magrereklamo kung yung utang natin ay talagang magi-skyrocket din. So again, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Utang tayo, pero pwede namang hindi naman tayo magbayad eh. Pwede namang future generations. So let's kick the can down the road. Just like what the Marcos Sr. Dictatorship did, di ba? Yung mga utang nila nung 70s, 80s, nabayaran lang 2018 or thereabouts. So I think that's the cost. So in other words, sige, bawasan natin to 50%, pero either us, we will pay for that, or the future generations. Ganun lang naman yun.
Pero yan ang problema, JC, sa HAP eh. Parang pag-ibig yan eh. Hindi pwedeng half-hearted. Pag half-hearted ang pag-ibig, broken-hearted yun.
I don't know how to react to that.
Okay ba? Okay ba?
Hindi na economics
Okay ba
yun, wala akong ma-comment.
Okay ba na ending yun?
Sige, doon na natin tapusin. Baka sa papauwi ito eh. Okay. Maraming salamat for joining us this afternoon. For joining Historicon, JC Punong Bayan po of the UP School of Economics. Thank you, sir.
Salamat,
Thank you,
JC.
thank you.
Regards kay Walden ulit.